It's a tradition in commencement ceremonies to have a speaker who shares their thoughts and ideas as you transition from being a student to being a graduate. I cannot tell you how honored we are this evening to have a very, very special person delivering the commencement address. Let me tell you a little bit about Senator Sylvia Garcia. Senator Garcia is a native of the South Texas farming community of Palito Blanco, the 8th of 10 children. Senator Garcia learned at an early age the value of education and hard work. Growing up, she saw her parents struggle to raise 10 children. That is a challenge. Because of their struggles, her parents wanted to make sure each one of their children had a good education in order to better their lives. As a result, Senator Garcia worked hard and attended Texas Women's University on a scholarship, graduating with a degree in social work. However, she didn't stop there. She then received her Doctor of Jurisprudence degree from Thurgood Marshall School of Law at Texas Southern University. Aside from acquiring her education, Senator Garcia knew it was also her responsibility to give back to her community. As a social worker, early in her professional career, she protected our community's most vulnerable. Whether it was our children or our elderly, she made sure that no one was forgotten. Shortly afterwards, Senator Garcia entered her public service career with the City of Houston. She served as director and presiding judge of the Houston Municipal System for an unprecedented 5 terms under 2 mayors. There, she made our city court system effective and efficient for our community. When Senator Garcia was elected to city controller, she earned a reputation as the taxpayer's watchdog that fought to protect the pocketbook of all working families. Recalling the struggles of her own parents, she knew that every dollar counts when raising a family. That is why she made sure city government was transparent and accountable. In 2002, Senator Garcia was elected to the Harris County Commissioner's Court, the first Hispanic and first woman to be elected in her own right to the office. She continued her advocacy for working families and made certain that Harris County took care of its most vulnerable, all while making certain Harris County led the way for new jobs and economic development. Active in the Houston community, Senator Garcia has served on more than 25 community boards and commissions, including the San Jacinto Girl Scouts, the Houston Hispanic Forum, the American Leadership Forum, Battleship Texas, and the Museum of Fine Arts here in Houston. Senator Garcia has been named Humanitarian of the Year by the National Conference of Communities in Justice and chosen as one of Houston's 25 Power People by Inside Houston magazine. She is also a recipient of the Texas Women's University Board of Regents Women of Distinction Award, the Hispanic Scouting Distinguished Citizen Award from the Sam Houston Area Council Boy Scouts of America, and the Board Award from the San Jacinto Girl Scouts. Senator Sylvia Garcia has dedicated her life to her community and to public service. Just like her parents believed in her future, she believes in the future of Texas families that depend on a quality education for each and every one of their children. Please join me in welcoming Senator Sylvia Garcia.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. You read that just like I wrote it. No, seriously, it is a great treat for me to be here tonight, and to Dr. Brown and the chair of the Board of Regents and all the members of the platform tonight. Thank you all for inviting me tonight. I've been in and around Baytown so many years throughout my public service career that I'm really not quite sure why it took you all so long to get me to come here to talk to graduates. because quite frankly, I love being a part of commencement ceremonies because it's always so much excitement in the air. There is a sense that anything is possible from here on out. And yes, sometimes you might just hear that phone ring or the child cry, but you know what? That's what makes this ceremony a real ceremony. There is such a sense of accomplishment and confidence because you worked hard and you earned your education, and no one gave it to you, did they? You earned it. A degree is unique in that way. No one can give it to you, and no one can take it away from you. It's earned, and once you've earned it, it's yours, and nobody can take it away from you. Once you've attained it, it's a part of you. So now that you've earned it, you all are thinking, what's next? And I'm here to tell you tonight, graduates, that this degree will open the doors for you because you will have many possibilities, many of which you may never would have dreamed of. And quite frankly, many of us here at the platform and many in the audience started the same way. So I'll tell you a little bit more about myself. What Dr. Brown said is true. I grew up poor. I'm one of 10 children. Now that doesn't happen too often anymore, but 10 is a lot of people. And I grew up in a very small farming community. In fact, if you all know McNair compared to us is a big city. Because in Palito Blanco, the South Texas farming community where I grew up, only in the good times did we hit a population of about 55. Yes, you heard me right, less than 100 people. Now, I don't want anybody here rushing to get home to get a map to look up Palito Blanco, because I'm going to assure you, you're not going to find it. Google Earth, however, finds everything, right? You want to learn something these days, you go to Google. So you will see that it's not a city, town, or village, but it is the home of many hardworking people, and that's where I grew up. And I can tell you that being in a city, in an area that has less than 100 people has many advantages. For example, I always like to brag at graduations like this that I graduated in the top 14 in my class. Of course, you all know the punchline. There was only 14 in my class. And then when my nieces or nephews get in trouble with a traffic ticket, I like to tell them, I just can't believe you got a ticket. I never got a ticket when I grew up. But of course, we had not one traffic light. So yes, growing up was very simple. But I can tell you that when I was growing up, I really only had two very simple dreams. And one of them came from a time when I was picking cotton, because yes, growing up on a farm, you got to do your share of the chores. So I have picked cotton, I have baled hay, I have chopped cotton, you name it, I've done it on a farm. I've even milked cows. And one day I was out working in the field in the blistering sun, and all I could really think about was this dream of someday working in an air-conditioned building. Now, I didn't know what I wanted to be. I just knew whatever it was, I wanted to be indoors, not outdoors. Then another day I remember when I had the second dream. I was really very sick. And in our community, there was no doctors. Obviously, we didn't even have a traffic light. You know we didn't have any doctors. So whenever you got sick, you went to what's called a curandera. Those of you who may not know what that is in Spanish, it means a healer, where you would go and get home remedies and they would try to do something to make you well. Well, my daddy had taken me to the curandera, but nothing worked. I was feverish. I was really very sick. So my daddy put me in his pickup truck and drove me into town and took me to the county clinic. And there I stood in line to get a shot. And I remember even at that young age thinking that someday I wanted to grow up to make sure that kids didn't have to stand in line just to get a shot. It didn't make sense to me that in this great country of ours, that little kids would be forced to stand in line to get a shot. So that was just two simple dreams. I wanted to work in an air-conditioned building, and I wanted to help people not to have to stand in line to get a shot. Lucky for me, my parents were very supportive, and they believed in me. They knew that I could do it. Their advice was very simple, and parents, I'm sure that it's advice that you may have shared with the graduates tonight. They told me to work hard, to get an education, and to always believe in God, and that, in turn, I would be rewarded. Both parents pushed us, every single one of us. In fact, when my youngest brother, number 10, graduated from high school, my mother was given a certificate by the school district because we were the largest size family, Dr. Brown, in our district, where all kids graduated from high school. That was my mother's proudest moment. Just like I'm sure today, for many of you, this is a proud moment. But imagine that if in Texas, in our great state, every family could brag that every single child of theirs graduated from high school, that really would be a proud moment for all of us. So when I headed to college at Texas Women's University, I arrived there with my two simple dreams, and quite frankly, a little nervous and little anxiety, because I'd never been away from home. But I knew that if I worked hard and got the education and believed in God, just like my parents told me, that I would be able to succeed. So I got my first degree in social work, and sometimes I wonder why I picked social work, but I think it's because I like making home visits and talking and talking to people and helping people. So I worked real hard, and now I know that many of you graduates have probably struggled just like I did, or maybe even worse. So I'm sure that your parents helped you and gave you strong advice to make sure that you could reach this milestone. I'm sure that many of you may have had some financial sacrifices, and maybe some of you ate more ramen noodles or taquitos than you ever want to count anymore. But I'm sure that it was worth it, wasn't it? Because now you're here. Some of you probably had to juggle classes and a job, and maybe even a family at home. But no matter who you are or where you come from, tonight you're all very equal, because that's the beauty of education. It's the great equalizer for Americans. Whether you come from Old Baytown or New Baytown or McNair or Palito Blanco, you're all equal now. You have an education and you have a shot at the American dream. So whether your father is a plant manager or a welder, or you were raised by a single mom, inside of a classroom, you can achieve anything you can set your mind to. And as trite as it might sound, it truly is a place where the sky is the limit. I went from being a social worker to attending law school to becoming a legal aid attorney to later running for office. I never planned any of that. You work hard, and you work hard, and you work hard. I wanted to help people on a grand scale, and I wanted to ensure that everybody had a fair shot at the American dream. So that's why I always continued my education, and that's why today in the Texas Senate, I fight hard to make sure that kids do get a good education and that kids do have a shot at the American dream. And I continue to fight to make sure that kids don't have to stand in line to get a shot. So my friends, I'm also fighting to ensure that Lee College and Goose Creek ISD and all the universities and schools in this area get the resources they need to make sure that we can get a good quality education for everyone. That's my passion, and it drives me every day. Sometimes my staff tells me, slow down, but you know what? I can't until I make sure that everyone has a fair shot at that American dream, because that is the promise of America. So I encourage you graduates to do the same. Find something that you can be passionate about. Find something where you can make your mark on this world. So tonight, I congratulate all the parents here tonight, because I know that without your help, these graduates would not be here tonight. I know that you proudly share this moment with them. And I further challenge all of you to keep dreaming, continue on your path, and reach for more. Do and dare. There should never be a time in your life where you're not trying something challenging. Do not get complacent. It is the challenge that stretches you and shows you what you can become. Dare to get out of your comfort zone and stretch yourself. And along the way, do not be discouraged by failure. I lost elections 2 times before I won the 3rd one. For me, the 3rd one was the charm. You can be discouraged, but you must continue to set your goals and work hard, because from every failure, you can learn something. Success isn't possible without you knowing that there's a possibility that you can fail. And with both success and failure, always remember, either one is temporary. Use your will. Often the difference between a successful person and others is not a lack of strength, not a lack of knowledge, but rather a lack of will. To succeed, you must desire to succeed more than you desire anything else. If you want to succeed, that's got to be your primary goal. Successful people aren't stronger than others, and they aren't necessarily smarter than others, but they have to have more desire than others. They have a burning desire, so they will make sure they'll get their goals realized. Finally, desire is important, but it is commitment and determination that allow you to ultimately succeed. So graduates, congratulations again, and may you stretch your dreams to the limit to ensure that you achieve the highest success. Thank you again. Merry Christmas and Godspeed. Thank you.